Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 23, Text 8. Please repeat. Dikshayaha Pashu Samsthayaha Sautramanyaha Cha Sattamaha Anyatra Dikshitasya Api Na Annam Ashnan Hi Dushyati. Dikshaya Pashu Samsthaya Dikshaya Pashu Samsthaya Sautramanyashcha Sattamaha Sautramanyashcha Sattamaha Anyatra Dikshitasyapi Anyatra Dikshitasyapi Nannam Ashnan Hi Dushyati Nannam Ashnan Hi Dushyati. Dikshaya Pashu Samsthaya Sautramanyashcha Sattamaha Anyatra Dikshitasyapi Nannam Ashnan Hi Dushyati. Dikshaya Pashu Samsthaya Sautramanyashcha Sattamaha Anyatra Dikshitasyapi Nannam Ashnan Hi Dushyati. Dikshaya Pashu Samsthaya Sattamaha Anyatra Dikshitasyapi Nannam Ashnan Hi Dushyati. Pashu Samsthaya Anyashcha Sattamaha Anyatra Dikshitasyapi Matajis. Dikshaya Pashu Samsthaya Sautramanyashcha Sattamaha Anyatra Dikshitasyapi Word to word. Dikshayaha, beginning with the initiation for a sacrifice. Pashu Samsthayaha, until sacrificing the animal. Sautramanyaha, outside of the sacrifice known as Sautramani. Cha, and Sattamaha, O purest ones. Anyatra, elsewhere. Dikshitasya, of one who has been initiated for the sacrifice. Api, even. Na, not. Annam, food. Ashnan, eating. He, indeed. Dushyati, creates offense. Translation and purport given by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Translation: except during the interval between the initiation of the performer of a sacrifice, the actual sacrifice of the animal, O most pure Brahmanas, it is not contaminating for even the initiated to partake of food, at least in sacrifices other than the Sautramani. Purport: the cowherd boys anticipated the possible objection from the Brahmanas that they couldn't give the boys any food because they themselves had not yet eaten, and that a priest initiated to perform a sacrifice should not eat. Therefore, the boys humbly informed the Brahmanas about various technicalities of ritualistic sacrifice. The cowherd boys were not unaware of the formalities of Vedic culture, but their real intention was simply to render loving service to Lord Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Dikshaya Pashu Samsthaya Sautramanyascha Sattamaha Anyatra Dikshitasyapi Nanam Ashnan Hidushyati. Translation: except during the interval between the initiation of the performer of a sacrifice and the actual sacrifice of the animal, O most pure Brahmanas, it is not contaminating for even the initiated to partake of food, at least in sacrifices other than the Sautramani. So here we are continuing the reading the pastime of how Krishna he blesses the wives of the Brahmanas. So we see whole pastime. First, the cowherd boys, they tell Krishna that they are hungry and that he should arrange some food for them. So then he sends them to the Brahmanas, and then they are speaking previous verse also. They they were requesting food, and here they are anticipating that they are expecting the Brahmanas to give, to reply, saying we can't because we are performing the sacrifice, so we can't give you any food. So then they are giving, describing some details on how it is proper in this situation. It is proper for them to give charity, so to give the food. So here we see the purport. There is a very important point. How these cowherd boys, the Gopas, they were not unaware. They were aware of all these Vedic rituals, because they themselves had also experienced. They had been in different sacrifices. They had attended, so they knew the different ritualistic different other details. So here they are. We see from the beginning of the chapter, from the last chapter, the verse, they come to Krishna. They approach Krishna, and so there we see that Jiva Goswami, he explains that actually the Gopas, they just wanted to please Krishna. They thought that Krishna and Balaram must be hungry. But if we ask them that, if we tell them that it seems you are hungry, so why don't you eat something or something, then they won't accept, or they won't want to do it. So that's why they are, Jiva Goswami explains that they acted as if they were very hungry, And then we see that the also the intimate relationship they have. So they went to Krishna and Balaram, and then they are saying, now you have to do something. We are hungry, so you must do something about it. You should satisfy your hunger. So we see, but all this they are doing for the pleasure of Krishna. And then we see, then they come to the Brahmanas. Now they are speaking, and all this whatever they are speaking, everything they first come offer obeisances, and then they very humbly ask the Brahmanas for food. So all this they are trying just to get something for Krishna, so just that they can please him. So the very important point is that everything which we do, we should do for Krishna's pleasure. Like we also, whatever we are trying in our day-to-day life, getting up for Mangalarti, chanting our rounds, reading, attending Bhagavatam class, reading Bhagavatam, going for Guru Puja, from 4:30 in the morning, everything, from the time we wake up and the time we sleep, everything we are doing it. We might be doing now without any spontaneous love, just as a matter of ritualistic way. But still, whatever we do, we should do it for the pleasure of Krishna. So Krishnarthe akila cheshta. So whatever we do, it should be done for Krishna. And otherwise, if we do like dharma sonishita pumsam vishwaksena katasya notpadayat yadiratim shama eva hi kevalam. So whatever, how much ever nicely, perfectly we may execute our duties, occupational duties, but if they don't please Krishna, then it's just a useless labor. Shama eva hi kevalam. So therefore, whatever we do, we should do for Krishna. And here we see these Brahmanas, they were very puffed up. They didn't even consider, like we see in the later verses, they didn't even reply yes or no. They didn't even say no. They just ignored them completely. So they were puffed up, and they were not, we can understand from this whole pastime that they were not they didn't have realized knowledge. They had studied some Vedas, but it was not fruitful. It was not, it's useless study, because they didn't come to the realization that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And at last, of course, because their wives were pure devotees, so later then they changed. But still, then even after they regretted their mistakes, still they were not on that pure platform of devotional service. Because we see, then they didn't go to Vraja because they were scared of Kamsa. But we see their wives, they went, so they didn't have any fear. They just wanted to go and meet Krishna. So we see that Brahmanas still, even until the end, still in this pastime, still they don't come to that topmost level of devotional service. But we see here they are puffed up because of whatever study they have done. But actually, because they are Brahmanas, so they are actually so-called Brahmanas, because Brahmana, all the Varnas actually, they should samsiddhir haritoshanam. Whatever they do should be done for the pleasure of Krishna. So when these Brahmanas, they are ignoring Krishna, they are not even giving food, something like the Lord is like sending somebody to give and they are not giving, then it's totally wrong, because it shows how they are ignorant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We see that knowledge should give humility, vidya dadati vinayam. So we see this is, humility should be there. When we have knowledge, we should be humble. Bhaktidas Maharaj, one lecture he gave, definition, he said that humility cannot be separated from knowledge, just like sweetness cannot be separated from sugar. So in that way, this both should come hand in hand. That they should always be together. Not that because if you have some knowledge and then you're puffed up, then actually whatever knowledge you have is just is useless knowledge. Knowledge should be applied also practically. It may be just some theoretical knowledge, and also it won't last for long. It won't be beneficial also for us. So here these Brahmanas, they were like that. They had some knowledge, but because they didn't know, they didn't recognize the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all of the knowledge was rendered useless. And the most important thing we see here was that the pure love is most important. Whatever we do should be done loving devotional service for the Lord. We should do, because Krishna, he is not attracted by the jnanis or by the yogis, by the karma yogis, by the whatever knowledge or whatever the karma kanda activities, whatever activities they do. Especially we see this jnanis also, they have all the knowledge, but it takes so many lifetimes. We see bahunam janmanamante jnanavanamam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. So these jnanis actually, we see these 4 people who approach Krishna. So out of them, Krishna says the jnani is the topmost, but still he says that it takes so many lifetimes for him to come to the conclusion that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, but devotees, of course, because they know Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are in intimate relationship with Him, they have all knowledge. So we see here Gopas also, they were not some village boys who didn't have any Vedic knowledge. They knew all these things, but they didn't want to approach Krishna or serve Krishna by their knowledge or they didn't want to do that. For them was pure loving devotional service. Whatever they do, they should just try to please Krishna. So we see so many like gopis also, they wanted just to please Krishna. Whatever we saw the last chapter also, they wanted Krishna to become their husband so that they could serve him as a wife, and in that way they could please him. So gopis, then we see Krishna also, he is not attracted or he is not pleased by how much ever wealth or how much ever knowledge you have. If you don't apply it properly, if you don't use it properly in Krishna's service, then Krishna, he won't come. You may be the richest person, but Krishna, if you just demand that Krishna should come or you just don't have any love, then he won't come. Like we see when Krishna went to Hastinapura, Duryodhana, because he was inimical to the Pandavas, so he was a demon. But so when he invited Krishna, he prepared a whole royal feast. Nobody could prepare such a feast nowadays. It's such a royal opulent feast, but Krishna, he rejected. He preferred to go to Vidura's house, because Duryodhana, he didn't have the attitude of loving devotional service. He had his own motivations, and it's not pure devotional service. That's why Krishna, he rejects such things. Then we see when he went to Vidura's house, Vidura and his wife, they were in ecstasy of devotional service. So they, by mistake, they gave banana peels to Krishna. But Krishna, he accepted that also, because the devotee, he is giving with love and affection. That is the most important thing. That whatever we give, like Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. So whatever we give with devotion, Yome Bhaktya Prayachati, when we give with love and devotion, then Krishna accepts this, even it's a leaf or whatever it is. So this is actually, we see in Vidura's story where he gives the banana peels and Krishna accepts it. We can see that love and devotion is the most important thing. And also when we see about this in this context, like the Brahmanas, they were puffed up because of their knowledge. We see that actually when somebody is simple-minded, it's more easy for him to approach Krishna, because otherwise, if he is even nowadays, if we take an example, somebody is he has PhD or MA or whatever, BA, whatever he has, he may be very proud, and then he thinks he is the biggest person in the world. He doesn't care for anybody, doesn't give a fig for anybody, for God, for Krishna. So we see it's more difficult for such people to surrender, to perform devotional service. So actually when we have a simple mind, when we are simple-minded, it's more easier. And Krishna likes such people, because then whatever they have, they will have faith. They have faith in whatever the Vedas say, and they have faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that one should worship Him, even though they may not have knowledge like there are scholars who there is a story of this some Western philosophers. They had studied Shad Sandarbhas, and they are discussing while sitting in the restaurant and eating meat and drinking wine, so smoking. So then what is the use? They have, maybe they may say like so many other references, so many things they can quote. They can speak so much on bhakti or about Krishna from the Vedas. but there is no use because they are not applying it practically in their life. Like if we may not be able to give so many points, or like it's said in even in Nectar of Ocean, Srila Prabhupada explains that the Madhyama Adhikari, he gives those three categories: Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama, and Uttama. So he say, Kanishta Adhikari, he has very weak faith and doesn't have knowledge in the Vedas. Madhyama Adhikari, the most important thing is he has full faith. His faith cannot be wavered; it's unwavered faith. And even though he may not have full knowledge, so much knowledge of Vedic scriptures, but even he may not be able to present some arguments to some opponent, whoever is arguing with him. He may not give proper arguments, or he may not know any arguments, but still his faith is strong. He himself won't be, he will be undaunted. He won't change his faith. He won't be wavered at all. And Uttamadhikari, we see they can argue on the basis of the Vedic scriptures, and they also have full faith. But main thing we see actually in Madhyamadhikari, because he is also pure devotee of the Lord, so he also, main thing is faith. Like this knowledge also, if we have knowledge, then we should use it in devotional service, not that now we become proud of the knowledge. We see like this simplicity, this simple-mindedness, and having faith in the Lord. We see there are so many stories. We see one story, there was this one poor boy. He was going to, his family was poor. He was going to one Gurukula. So there was a festival. So the Guru, he told all the boys to bring some dakshina, something special, some gift for the Guru, and something for they had a feast, a program, everything. So then this boy, he went home. He asked his mother that, what, can you give something? I need to take something. But they had nothing actually. They literally almost had nothing also even to eat properly. So then his mother said, you go to the forest, your elder brother is there. You can call him, you call Dina Bandhu, and he will come, and you can ask him something, to give you something. So the boy had so much faith, he went to the forest and started shouting, Dina Bandhu. He called Krishna, who is known as Dina Bandhu also. So he called, and then Krishna appeared, because he had full faith in the words of his mother that he will come. Then when he came, Krishna gave him one small like cup, mud cup of, so it was kheer. He gave, and then the boy took it to the Gurukula, and everybody was laughing at him. You brought, what is this? You brought just some tiny bit of kheer. So, but then when they started serving, how much ever they are pouring into the plate, the cup is always full. So we see that Krishna here, this boy, he had full faith. So therefore Krishna appeared in front of him, and then he fulfilled his desire. So we see that faith, because this boy, he didn't have much knowledge, and he didn't know even like who Krishna was, but he had full faith when his mother said. So then he had full faith in her words, and he went, and then he had the darshan of Krishna. Then we see also Alarnath's story. So there was a Brahmana who was doing deity worship of that Alarnath deity. So then he had to go out to some other town. So he told his son to take care of offering the bhoga to the Lord. So then he taught how to do. He just said some simple, you just have to go, keep it, and you come, and the Lord will eat, he said. So then this boy, what he did, he went, first day he went, he kept the plate, he did some whatever, ringing the bell and saying some mantras. Then he went to play. Then he is coming back after some 10-15 minutes. He's coming, seeing the plate is exactly as it is. Then he is like begging with the Lord, please eat, why are you not eating? Did I do something wrong? And then again he goes. And again after some time he comes, still the plate is like that. Then he kneels down, he starts crying, please eat. He begs the Lord to please eat that offering. He had so much faith. When his father just said that he will eat the offering, he will accept the offering, his father didn't have that faith. His father just said he will accept the offering, means like by looking at the offering, which also the Lord does, he accepts the offering like that. But this boy took it so seriously that the Lord should eat. Then he begs, and then the Lord starts eating. Then what happened is 2-3 days, when the boy is coming back with the offering plate, it's empty. And that's all what didn't used to make much. Whatever they made was offered, and then they used to have that prasadam. Then a few days they don't have almost any prasadam also. So then this mother is asking her son, that, what is this? Where is the prasadam? Where is the offering? He said, Lord ate. But she was, no, something else is going on. Then after his father came back, so one day when he was doing the offering, his father goes and hides behind the screen, and he's looking what's happening. And then he sees the Lord is, the deity, the Lord is taking sweet rice. Then this Brahmana, he comes and holds the hand, catches the hand, he's saying, you should not do this. You are a deity. How can you do this? You are a murti. How can you eat? Then we see that from this pastime we can see that he didn't have faith. He was doing everything just in a ritualistic way. But the boy, small boy, simple-minded, doesn't know much of Vedas, Shastras, doesn't know these things. But because of that faith he had, Krishna accepted, literally ate the offerings. So we see that the faith is most important. So that is one very nice story. Then we see here in this pastime, the Gopas, they did everything for Krishna. Now they are asking for food for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these Brahmanas, because the Gopas, they anticipated that they won't give, or they might give some reasons. So that's why they are speaking these details in this verse, that from the initiation of the performer who's doing the sacrifice up to the sacrificing of the animal, up to that point, in that interval, one should not eat, but at other times we can partake of food, we can share, we can give in charity food, we can give. So, but these Brahmanas, we see, then they don't give, they don't even reply. So, actually everything is belonging to the Lord. Everything, Ishavasyamidam Sarvam. Whatever is there in this world, everything is the Lord's. So therefore we should be ready to give it to the Lord. And by giving to the Lord, it's not that the Lord gets something from us, that he didn't have any food, and now because we gave him food, now he is now he will be satisfied from hunger. The Lord is full. He is Purnamadav Purnamidam. He is full. He is always full. But by giving the Lord something, whatever we have, something small or something, whatever, according to our capacity, whatever we give, it is not that the Lord gets benefited. It's us who are getting benefited. We get benefited because by performing that, we are performing pure devotional service, and we get purified by performing devotional service. So, but these Brahmanas, they refuse to give to the Lord. And we can see, even if the boys, even if this rule was there, that they cannot give any food during the yajna, even if it was there in such a situation that they can't give, because the Supreme Lord is asking, then they should, even if it is kind of breaking the rules, still they should give, because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so he should be satisfied, he should be pleased. So that is the main important goal, most important goal of the Vedas. So by performing the sacrifice, they should please Krishna. So if by giving some food to Krishna, they can please him, then that they should do that, even if it might break some rule of the sacrifice. But of course, Krishna, he doesn't always break rules, in the sense he didn't do like that. But still, even if it was in that way that it breaks the rule, still they should give it to Krishna. And actually, whatever it says, Svalpam apyasya dharmasya. So even little bit, whatever it do, trayate mahato bhayat, it saves us from the most dangerous type of fear. So therefore, we should be ready to give everything for Krishna, do anything and everything for Krishna. And in that way, we see Krishna is pleased, and then everybody is pleased. These another important point here in this story is, we see these Brahmanas, how much ever they were had Vedic knowledge, but there was no use, because they didn't appreciate, they didn't recognize Krishna. But you see the story of the Srirangam Brahmana. He didn't know how to even read properly. he was keeping the Bhagavad Gita upside down and reading with mistakes. He was not even able to read properly. But because his spiritual master told him to read the Bhagavad Gita every day, so he was trying with his best effort, and he had full faith. And when he used to imagine he used to see the picture of Krishna and Arjuna. Krishna was driving the chariot of Arjuna. So when he saw that picture, he just went into ecstasy. He was crying. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he comes and he sees him. He asks, "Why are you crying?" So then he says that when I'm seeing Krishna, how much he is affectionate to his devotees, I'm not able to control my ecstasy. Like, he is crying. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, this is a pure devotee of the Lord. He doesn't even have proper, he doesn't know how to read. He's illiterate, but still he understands the most important thing of Bhagavad Gita. So this is most important, not just knowledge, theoretical knowledge. Practical knowledge, the essence of all knowledge should be there. And about this giving of charity also, like we go out for book distribution. Some people, they might be very tight-fisted, they don't want to give. So then we see, then they are not giving for the Lord. And we always say that you can give even 1 rupee. Of course, they will give a little more, but even 1 rupee if you give, for Krishna, when you give, it's so beneficial for you. But then now that we also say that whatever we give to Krishna, he returns it multifold, manifold. But that doesn't mean now that we give 1,000 rupees to Krishna, expecting 1 lakh rupees from Krishna back. We should do it without any motivation. And Krishna, he will reciprocate in any way he wants. So we should be fully unmotivated. We should surrender to Krishna, give everything we can for Krishna. And when we do, like outside people, they may be, if they don't fully surrender now, they give somebody gives 100 rupees, 200 rupees, 500 rupees, whatever is small, even if they give 10, 20 rupees, still there is some Agnyata Sukriti, some small amount of some there, like I said, Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya. So because they are doing a little bit of devotional service by giving a little bit for the temple, then we see everything is they get that Sukriti that is never vanquished, it's eternal. So therefore we should, like this Gopas, we should try to serve Krishna just with the intent to satisfy him, and we should be ready to give everything and anything for Krishna without any hesitation. Hare Krishna. Maybe any questions or comments? Yes. Here we see that question is that the Brahmanas, they are performing yajna, which ultimately Krishna is yajna Purusha, so whatever they are doing, ultimately it will go to Krishna, who is yajna Purusha. So why is Krishna stopping them here? So how to understand? So we see that previously in previous verses it was explained that the yajna they were doing, Angirasa yajna, they were doing it to attain the heavenly planets. So of course Krishna, he says like that yajantya vidhi purvakam, they are actually worshipping me only. Krishna says in 9th chapter that they are worshipping me, but they are not following, they are on the wrong path. They are actually worshipping me indirectly, but it's the wrong path, avidhi purvakam. So in this way, these Brahmanas also, they are worshipping in one way. Indirectly we can see, because by worshipping the demigods or whatever yajna they're doing to attain the heavenly planets, they may be in one way indirectly worshipping the Yajna Purusha Krishna, but still that is not devotional service, because they have a material desire. They want to go to heavenly planets. Indirectly there may be, but it's not the. So Krishna here, when they give for Krishna, if they give the Gopas the food which they will take to Krishna, then they are directly giving to Krishna. Because if they have the proper understanding that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead and then they give, then they are already performing pure devotional service. So that is the point, I think so here. Maybe somebody else could comment something.
Knowledge will become real. When the knowledge will be realized.
Realized knowledge is when whatever theoretical knowledge we have is applied in practical life. The essence of all that knowledge, when we apply in our practical life, then it becomes realized knowledge.
How does it happen? That's the question. Yeah, you apply it in your life, but how does actually it happens?
Like we have knowledge that Krishna is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, and when one should serve Him, that's said that we should serve Krishna. And when we do it in practical life by understanding Krishna's Supreme Personality of Godhead and following the different rules and regulations of bhakti and serving the Lord, then that is then realized knowledge. When we actually do it, that devotional service, when we perform it, or the pleasure of Krishna, then that can be realized knowledge.
Just to add, there was maybe about 2-3 weeks back, one boy was in the Gurukul. So His Grace Bhurijan Prabhu was just speaking to the boy, and then he asked, so what are you learning in the Gurukul? So this boy was explaining about so many things, and then he said that, so what is the purpose of having you have gone to the Gurukul? What is the most important thing? So he said that, so the boy was just not able to answer exactly what it was. So very nicely Bhurijan Prabhu summarized. He said that the most important thing for which you have gone to the Gurukul is to control your mind. And then he said, how do you control the mind? He said, you can control the mind by rendering sincere service to your teachers. Philosophically also, in the Gurukula, the students have faith in the teachers and they serve the teachers and hear from the teachers. Similarly, the Bhagavatam also explains that by rendering service to the great personalities, the Bhagavatas, so one's heart is purified, and then the Bhagavatam also explains that one develops ruchi, taste for hearing Harikatha. And by the process of Harikatha, as you said, one applies all the rules and regulations practically in life, and then he hankers for the mercy, the blessings of the Lord and His pure devotees. Then he is able to see, this is spirit, this is matter, this is Sat, this is Asat, and goal of life is to please Hari Guru Vaishnavas, and then he engages in preaching, and he follows. So that's how the science works. So just to add one more thing in the point, like as you were explaining, in one of the purports in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, I think, let me just see. Yeah, 3rd canto, 6th chapter, verse 6, I think. There's an amazing purport. Prabhupada explains about who is a real Brahmana. So I'll just read a small section of it. It's very much applicable to this section, what we are reading now in the Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada speaks about, this is a section where the Lord is explaining about how the Shudras are born from the legs of the Lord. So in that context, Prabhupada is explaining, it is actually better to be a Shudra than to be a Brahmana and not develop the service attitude, because that attitude alone satisfies the Lord. Every living being, even if he be a Brahmana by qualification, must take to the transcendental service of the Lord. Both Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam support this service attitude, which is the perfection of the living entity. A Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra can perfect his occupational duties only by rendering service unto the Lord. A Brahmana is supposed to know this fact due to his perfection in Vedic wisdom. The other sections are supposed to follow the direction of the Brahmanas. Brahmana Vaishnava, one who is a Brahmana by qualification and a Vaishnava by action. That will make the entire society perfect in regard to the order of its social construction. A disordered society cannot satisfy either the members of the society of the Lord Even if one is not a perfect Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra, but takes to the service of the Lord, not caring for the perfection of his social position, he becomes a perfect human being simply by developing the attitude of service to the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
This here, these brahmanas, we see that they were puffed up. And another thing just came to my mind before I forgot to say that the Prabhupada, he says also that women, they are by nature they are simple-minded. So Kunti Maharani, in the Kunti Maharani prayer section, he explains that. So therefore, they can actually more easily approach Krishna, like we see here the wives of the brahmanas, because of the simple-mindedness. And because our attraction to Krishna it's explained in later verses, and actually from childhood, even from their young age, they had attraction to Krishna. They used to hear about his different qualities, pastimes. So even from that time, they have been attracted to Krishna. So therefore, it's more easier for them to take up to Krishna consciousness, to devotional service. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.